Now welcome to the last stop on this tour bus, to the top where I was told hard work would lure us. Sure enough, look where I'm headed, the opposite direction of the life that I dreaded.
Okay, so last week me and AC actually broke down the AL MVP. Unfortunately, we had trouble getting that back to Bruce, so we'll probably update that award next week anyway, and you'll hear it on the podcast. A few weeks ago, we broke down the AL Cy Young, and I think the NL Cy Young race is getting really solid too. But I'll break down, myself and AC will break all those down in the next few weeks because there's really a lot to shake out in both of those cases. As far as tonight, I'll give you guys the NL Cy Young, which is basically a two-guy race between Roy Halladay and Clayton Kershaw. There were obviously some other contenders, but they faded because of injuries or coming back down to earth, that type of thing. I mean, Jair Jurgens seems to fit there. Cole Hamels had an injury, and his numbers were dropping a little bit. So it's really between Kershaw and Halladay. Halladay obviously winning it last year. Kershaw, only 23 years old. For as bad as a season that the Dodgers are having, they could very well have a guy win the Cy Young and have a guy win the MVP in Matt Kemp. So let's break down the Cy Young for today. ERA-wise, for Clayton Kershaw in 28 games compared to Roy Halladay's 26 games, Kershaw has a 2.45 ERA compared to a 2.56 one for Halladay. So that is one notch for Clayton Kershaw. So he has the ERA. Now to the WHIP. For Roy Halladay, it is 105 compared to a 102 for Clayton Kershaw. So that is a 2-1 lead for Kershaw. As far as innings pitched, which is kind of Roy Halladay's big thing, he's got 189.2 compared to Clayton Kershaw's 198.2. So in a thing that you normally look at Roy Halladay and say, that's his bread and butter, or whatever, some stupid phrase like that, Clayton Kershaw is beating him on it this year. So props to Kershaw there. Complete games, I don't think anyone ever beats Roy Halladay in this. Kershaw does have 5, but Halladay has 7, so there is a notch for Kershaw. So right now in 4 categories, Clayton Kershaw has 3. And I really do look at complete games a lot because that's an interesting thing to look at, how good somebody's been. But when it's between 5 and 7, it's not like 2 for Kershaw and 7 for Halladay. It doesn't give Halladay that much of an advantage. As far as strikeouts, again, this is 28 games Kershaw's pitched. Kershaw has 212 strikeouts compared to Roy Halladay's 182 strikeouts. So again, another thing that Clayton Kershaw is beating Roy Halladay in right now. Hits allowed, now obviously Kershaw's made 2 more starts. 152 hits compared to Roy Halladay's 177. So I think that we all know that that's more of a product of the division that Clayton Kershaw plays in. Getting to see teams like the Padres and the Giants the entire year, I wouldn't take too much stock into that. And I don't think voters, the unfortunate part of the voters is they'll look at ERA and wins and losses and maybe whip and strikeouts. But they're not going to go as in-depth as we're taking it right now. So I think you look at all those all those stats, and you kind of come to the conclusion that Clayton Kershaw is having a better season this year. Kershaw beats Halladay in 4 out of the 5 huge categories we've talked about. And I think right now he's playing for a team where he's going to get less run support, and his record is still better. So I'm going to give the nod to Clayton Kershaw at this point. That doesn't mean over the last month of this season it couldn't change. But with the Phillies seemingly having a spot in the playoffs locked up, I wouldn't expect to see Roy Halladay throwing a complete game unless it's against like the Braves in a game that would probably be a statement game more than he needs to do this for us to win the game. So that is the NL Cy Young Award update.